Green Sports motorcycle team has scrambled into action once again and crossed the North Sea to Holland, from where we bring you round 4 of the Dutch Motocross Championships. Hello and welcome to Rhenen. We're up near the German border. We're off and racing in our first of 3, the 125cc classification here at the midpoint in the 1990 Dutch season. Into the first corner, and already a couple of casualties there. No harm done. Danny Benz on the Honda, one of those involved there in a coming together on corner 1. And as you can see straight away from the course here, it's a man-made course. Plenty of hillocks and bumps to keep the big spectators enthralled. Rhenen, in fact, is world-renowned in motorcycling and in motocross up here in Holland. They really love this track because it gives all the spectators superb vantage points in which to view the thrilling action. You can see plenty of sand has been put down to test these men and machines to the hill. And in lap 1, around this course, it's the number 6 of Pedro Trachter on the Suzuki who's making the pace. So as you can see already, those pictures giving you an indication that although we're racing in dry conditions here, the nature of the course is going to put plenty of pressure on those boys, and the shock absorbers as well are going to come in for a real battering. Just look at that there as our race leader flies through the air. Pedro Trachter, who's been proving the man to beat this season. This is race 4, and we're exactly at the midpoint in the Dutch motocross campaign for 1990. Pedro Trachter there in picture, going through. And my goodness, really has raced away from the pack in the early stages, coming round to complete lap 1, and these boys racing, in fact, for 30 minutes plus 1 lap. So the laps completed don't really matter that much because it's 30 minutes plus a lap. There goes Trachter. Has really set out his stall this season with the Suzuki team. And they're, at the moment, in a clear lead here, ahead of the rest of the pack, keeping well out of trouble. Pedro Trachter there from Epsa. Looking back down the field, I can see that Edwin Evertsen, who is the reigning champion, and of course has the distinctive number 1 on his Kawasaki. And he's proving that he's a durable customer because things have been going really badly for him so far this season in the first 3 rounds. Edwin Evertsen, who's been hanging in there. They haven't had the Kawasaki right. Evertsen himself has had a couple of injuries, a couple of spills, and at the moment he's up in hot pursuit of our race leader. Pedro Trachter then on the Suzuki. Couple of the Hondas going through. Number 39, Kies Advocaat. Very warm here this morning. The boys were out early, trying to get the best of the conditions in practice. And here in the afternoon, temperatures climbing well into the 70s. And thrilling a big crowd here of Dutch motocross fans. And quite a few as well have come over the border from nearby Germany. So this, the first then of this afternoon's racing, this, the 125cc classification. And it's an all-Japanese field there on the machines, the Suzuki's, Kawasaki's, Hondas. And just one Austrian machine, a KTM, being ridden. You may catch a glimpse of him going through, Leon Giesberts, number 23. Well, moving forward then and coming to the conclusion of the 30 minutes as they then went into their final lap. In the 125 classification, there was really no doubt about the winner from the off. It was that man there coming through to take the checkered flag, Pedro Trachter, who is beginning to look a real force in Dutch motocross in 1990. Out goes the flag. Pedro Trachter wins on the Suzuki. That's the result then in the 125cc classification. Edwin Evertsen, the reigning champion, he hung on for second place on the Kawasaki. Charles Weber was third. There's the classification for you and confirmation. And Ton van Grinsven came in fourth on a Honda. 4 different machines in the top 4. That's what the racing public like. And that's the result for you from the 125s. So the big crowd here at Renen draw breath, and down goes the grid. Away we go for the 500cc. The big boys then taking to the field as they race up hill 1, and we've got somebody there stalled. He's off the machine, out of harm's way, and the rest of the field go racing through round the hairpin and then back down that hill as well. All this course, of course, completely man-made. I don't need to tell you here where we're racing in the Netherlands. It's pretty flat. And that's number 45, who's having some problems there on hill number 1. But he's well down the classification, one of the also-rans. And his race, I would say, is more or less run from that position. So the men to watch out for. Well, after the first 3 rounds in the Dutch 500cc season, it's Leo Combe and Kees van der Ven, who are the 2 men really dueling at the top and looking as if they're going to make the 500 a personal battle between those 2. Looking down at Peter Hellings on the Honda, number 12. Kees van der Ven in Holland on the KTM. Well, he's really a racing legend in his own lifetime. Throughout the 1980s, he's dominated Dutch motocross, 9 times Dutch national champion. As we look once again at Hellings with the Honda. Kees van der Ven, he's racing with number 2 on the Austrian machine, the KTM. And Leo Combe, he's up also at the top of the field on the Honda with number 1. That's number 9 we're looking at. That's Roykarts on a Honda. Those spectators at the crest there getting a wonderful view of the boys as they fly through. Once again, look at the elevation there. That was Leo Combe going through on the Honda. Royakkers again, another Honda. The Honda's very strong indeed in the 500cc field. As you can see clearly from our pictures here at Renen, a great deal of sand has been put down to produce this course. Well, if you haven't raced a 500cc machine, even if you've just pedaled across the beach on holiday, you'll know how difficult it is to keep momentum and balance going on any kind of 2-wheeled machinery when you're going through sand. And these boys are doing it at speeds of up to 70 miles an hour. A superb course laid out here at Renen. Of course, the Dutch have been coming here for motocross for many, many years. And ingeniously laid out, it is a tight, plenty of curves on it, and it gives everybody through the elevated sections a chance to more or less survey the whole course and keep in touch with the race positions at all times. Tremendous racing there as these 2 boys come over the hills, almost shoulder to shoulder, and now down to the fastest part of the course, and then they really take off. Kees van der Ven going through then behind Royakkers. Royakkers and Kees van der Ven. For those of you not familiar with Dutch motocross scene, no love lost between these 2 competitors. And that's adding an extra piquancy to what's happening out there at the moment on the track, I can tell you. These 2 boys really have been a Dakar's drawn over the years. And here they are. Once again, just a couple of machine lengths between them. Royackers goes through. Royackers on the left. Coming up, the #1 of Leo Combe, championship leader at the midpoint in the 1990 season. Combe and Kees van der Ven here racing for maximum points, 30 for first place, 27 for second. And unlike Grand Prix motor racing, you must count every single result through the full stretch of the season. After this, the boys will take a short break for the summer. They'll be back racing again in the 500cc championships at the end of August. And this championship began back in March. And this is the 4th of 7 rounds in the 1990 Dutch Motocross 500cc class. Royackers now coming under threat from Van der Ven and Leo Combe. And it's Van der Ven and Combe now who are making ground on Royackers. Royackers is down behind Combe. You saw it there up at the top hairpin. Combe coming through on the inside to take Royackers. Peter Hellings just at the back of your picture there. That's the #1 machine, the Honda of Combe. We're looking now at Kees van der Ven, the motocross legend here in Holland. One of the best 500cc riders of the 1980s. An incredible 9 times national champion. Kees van der Ven on bike #2, the KTM. So it's Van der Ven then who's got a good 300 or 400 meters now ahead of Combe, who heads Hellings and then Royackers. Kees van der Ven leading from the front as he's done in so many races throughout an illustrious career. He knows this course absolutely backwards. A popular figure around the Dutch motocross scene as he carves away through the tail-enders and gives a superb exhibition of control over this sandy course. And those tail-enders are getting a view that many before have seen of this man, and that's the tail-end view as he goes racing through. Perfectly balanced Kees van der Ven then really opening up a big lead now as we come to the end of the regulation 30 minutes and one more lap then to complete for Van der Ven, who'll make up ground on Leo Combe, his arch rival. Those two at the top of the 500cc championship table at the midpoint in round 4 of the 1990 season. Kees van der Ven surely on his way to victory. Out comes the checkered flag. The KTM of bike #2, Van der Ven, claims the maximum points, 30 then, for the reigning champion. Leo Combe, despite a spirited effort, the best he could do was claim 2nd place. Combe behind Van der Ven, Hellings coming in 3rd, and Royackers was in 4th, Hulsen 5th, and Johnny Slomp in 6th. Those are positions in the 500. You'll join us after the break when we'll give you the 250 here from the Dutch Motocross at Renen. Warm welcome back then to the Dutch Motocross Championships here in Renen, and we're all set to go with the 250cc boys. Down at the start, and the man to look out for with start number 12 is the current championship leader, Dave Struybus, on the Kawasaki. And a couple of riders down. There's somebody in a prone position there at turn number 1. We'll find out if there's any damage done. Well, the first aid chaps around there and the marshals, and let's hope that's not too serious. and that man will be up and on his feet again before the boys come round for lap 2. The rest of the field then streaming away down the big incline there at the back of your picture, and then up over 3 hillocks as they start to sort themselves out into some sort of race order. It's the Kawasaki, the green colours. Dave Strybos, the man to look out for, leading the championship, although by his standards, not back to his best, having had a very bad accident last year. And in fact, still recovering from that all through the winter rehabilitation for Strybos, who is the big name in the 250cc class in Dutch motocross circles. And here he is, number 12, Dave Strybos on the Kawasaki. Strybos relieved, as all the leading competitors were to hear before the off, that there was no place in the start lineup for Van der Berg, second in the 1989 World Championships, not starting here because of injury. As we look at our race leader, already opening up an impressive gap between himself and the pack. Strybos, the green machine on Kawasaki, number 12. Strybos told us before the start that he wanted those 30 points for first position to consolidate his position, really, at the top of the championship leaderboard. And he knows that after this race, he's got 2 or 3 months in which to repair those damaged parts after his big injury last year. And he'll be looking for some rest and rehabilitation before the racing continues after the summer break at the end of August. This the 4th, don't forget, of 7 rounds in the Motocross Dutch Championships for 1990. And Strybos, just for a second there, held up by one of the tail enders, but keeps it going, and then out with the throttle and races up the big incline here at Reinen. And you can see just how fast Strybos is going, because he's already beginning to come up with the traffic, the back markers, and picking a course through them as neat as you like. Ultra professional Strybos. He's got that Kawasaki tuned up to perfection, and he's really flying over the jumps here. And even at this point in the race, as long as Strybos keeps out of danger, and 1 or 2 of the more inexperienced back markers don't do something stupid to take him out of the race, then the green of Kawasaki is going to be taking race honours here, I should think, without any shadow of a doubt. Looking back down the field, it's Kawasaki 1 and 2, Alvin van Asten with start number 3. Giving hot pursuit here to Strybos, but it's looking like a forlorn course, really, for Van Asten. Ed de Bruin on a Honda. In fact, leading a clutch of Hondas. There are 3 coming in behind Strybos and Van Asten. Brown's currently holding on to 3rd place. Lach also on the Honda 4th. Another Honda in 5th, that's Gerard Koning. And then down in 6th place at the moment, Visser on the Yamaha. Our cameras giving you plenty of exposure there of Dave Strybos. And what a demonstration he's showing all the fans here around the track and our viewers across Europe. This man really is one of the giants of Dutch motocross, and no stranger indeed to the world stage as well. So here's Strybos once again, coming up to lap yet another of the tail enders. One of the Hondas there being lapped. So it's Dave Strybos, as it has been so far in earlier rounds of the 250cc, who is very much the king of motocross at the moment here in the Netherlands, certainly when it comes down to the 250cc class. Number 51, that's third placed Ed de Bruin at the moment on the Honda. We're racing back again, Strybos. It's been very much the same story here throughout the day as in the 125 and the 500. The leaders getting an excellent start on the pack, keeping themselves clear of trouble, and then building a big lead and racing through to the checkered flag. And if that continues here, it's going to be no upset once again. Strybos looking good for maximum points. Most of these boys using white shock absorbers, standing up well to the firm and extremely bumpy, rutted terrain, because we had a dry spell here in the Netherlands. Temperatures today, race conditions absolutely perfect, just touching 80 degrees now as we come to the finale of today's racing at Renen. And I should think those arms are getting a little tired by now, but Strybos knows that the winning line is in sight as he's completing his regulation 30 minutes and just one lap to go for race leader Dave Strybos on the Kawasaki. Behind Strybos, race order remains unchanged. Alvin van Asten, desperate for championship points to close the gap at the top of the leaderboard. He can't do anything about today's result because it's Strybos who comes through to take the checkered flag, and maximum 30 points for him. Alvin van Asten there. Also Kawasaki, 1 and 2 then for the green Kawasaki's here in the 250cc. He'll claim 27 points, and it's Dave Strybos who will increase his lead at the top of the championship board tonight at the midpoint in the 1990 Dutch motocross season. Ed de Bruin, third place for him on the Honda. Number 51 then comes through the checkered flag, and as the rest of the boys come in behind them, there's our classification for you. No doubt about the winner, leading from the start, Dave Strybos. The Kawasaki's 1 and 2. Ed de Bruin, third place, the Honda. Fourth, Frank Lach, also on a Honda. Gerard Koning on a Honda was fifth, and Visser was 6 on the Yamaha. That's it from Renen. We look forward to you rejoining us throughout the season here, but that's all for now from the Screen Sport team in the Dutch Motocross Championships.